If you're a sewer, quilter, or crafter, I know you've got lots of leftover material. We gotta do something with it. We're talking about Free February in 2023, where here at Homemade, we're gonna help you use up what you've got.
What the heck do we do with these leftover pieces?
All of these extra little squares,
What do you do with yours?
they've got to be good for something.
It's a mystery.
Register at homemade.ca if you're excited to get your scraps organized in 2023. I know you got your scraps organized. I'm seeing you all making blocks, making pouches. Some of you just starting to get organized this week. That's okay. That's okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Jennifer Tryon. Welcome to week 3 of Free February, where we are using up our scraps. Yes, getting our scraps organized and putting them to good work. Last week, I made this beautiful bee pillow. Well, I tried to make it all while we were live, but you know, sometimes these things take time. But I love that I took my time with it. I love how it turned out. The bee block couldn't be more gorgeous. And look at the back. I know, right? And these are bees. You guys, couldn't have worked out better. I'm loving, loving, loving the pillow. I'm going to put it down in the store because we have some of this local, it's called Local Honey, this fabric collection. Hi, Katie. And I think it's a great way to show it off. So let's see who's joining us tonight. I just saw Suzanne. Please let us know where you're joining in from, and if you're a first timer. Sometimes people join these things, you know, halfway through. So I'm always excited to see anybody new. How do we join StreamYard? There is just a link in the intro. If you just click it and then you can put your name in, then I'll be able to see your name. Nothing happens. You don't get anything from StreamYard. It's not a weird, scam. It's just so that otherwise it just says Facebook user or, something like that. Hi from PEI, yay. Hi from Quebec. Barbara's in Kitchener, Ontario. We've got Oshawa. So good. Lots of people here tonight. Carol's from Morrisburg. Yay. Hi, Carol. We've got Vanessa from London. Hi, Vanessa Harris. And Marie Agnes from Oakville. I'm so glad you guys are here week after week. We love that you guys are joining in. And here with us every week, Amanda Brown, Genome educator, and Amanda, you're doing some really great work also with the Modern Quilt Collective, I gotta say.
Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoy it. Let's give it a little plug and get everybody following it. Tell us about it.
Okay, so it's mostly on Instagram, and our handle there is Canadian MQC. And all we do there is share with full permission quilts by modern quilters in Canada and Canadians that live worldwide. And it's just basically a place for us all to gather and inspire each other. And I also have a website, canadianmqc.ca. And on the website, there is a whole list of resources. Not only do we have Canadian fabric stores, and Homemade is on there, we have pattern designers that are Canadian, long armors that are Canadian, and companies that are Canadian, so that we can keep Canadian funds in Canada.
That's great. That's great. Do the quilts that we've done so far in our events count as modern? Because I think this is like a question that, people ask themselves, like, oh, well, maybe I'm not a modern quilter. I'm doing is the bee, is that modern? Is the tulips that we're going to do tonight so cute? Is it modern?
I think it all depends on the fabrics that you choose for it and how you use them. But one big part of modern quilting is taking a block that would normally be small and making it on a larger scale. So like the bees, the tulips, they're all big. So they are kind of a more modern take. And I like to celebrate everyone's modern quilting journey. So some of the quilts that I share aren't what you would normally call modern, but it's something more modern for the creator themselves.
Right. Like, I like to consider myself a modern quilter, but I'm in love with star patterns. I just love them.
Yeah, there's a way to make them modern, but also there's like this crossover that I like to call contemporary. So it's not really traditional. It's not really modern. It's just kind of in between. And we all just like to celebrate together.
Yeah. Why do we got to be labeled?
That's right.
Well, welcome. Thank you for that. I love hearing about the Modern Quilt Collective, and everybody rush to check it out after this.
Yes. Wait.
Because tonight we've got some work to do. I want to show you some of the cute. We talked about the bee, buzz off bee. We're on to the tulips. And this is what the bees can fly to now. The tulip block, I mean, look. Oh, and hold on.
Oh, so cute.
So cute. You got one too, Amanda?
I do. And I made my tulip into
what?
I'll stand back.
iPad pouch.
It is for my computer, my laptop.
Yes.
So like I use my favorite fabric on the inside.
Aww.
And then I had a ton of fun making it.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
I'm
used the
making a
pattern
stupid
and I
table
will put it in
runner.
the group.
I love that idea.
Mhm.
Wow. See, so many different ways that you can take all of these different blocks. If you're just tuning in, we are working in the book Scrappiness is Happiness. And I'm on page 168. And we're doing these tulips. And there's either the pattern to just make one block, or if you wanted to make an entire tulip quilt, which is, just so gorgeous for springtime. Ooh, I got the hiccups. So gorgeous for springtime. But honestly, I love that they picked this dark background, which you might not normally do with something like this, because you'd think, oh, spring, white, light, airy. But I think the dark background really just makes these tulips pop right off the page, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Like I tend to go for light colors, but every once in a while I'll be like, no, it needs a dark color. And it looks stunning.
Yeah, it really does look stunning. And look at this gorgeous quilting. I don't know if you can see it in the book, but if you've got the book with you at home, page 173, you can see this sort of wave, this ocean wave that's echoed over and over in what looks like beautiful long arm quilting. You can also see there is a scrappy binding on this quilt. And I can't totally see the back, but we are going to talk tonight about backings and doing up a little scrappy backing, because what I'm going to make with my tulips here, and I'm not going to go through making a whole tulip block, because if you've got the book, then you've already got the instructions and you can be making it, and I won't give away anything that might be proprietary with the book and all of that. But we can certainly play off of what we can do with these blocks. So Amanda, I love that you made yours into your computer pouch, like an iPad case that's a great, you could do it with that like that too. You could do it like you could have a bee on one and a tulip on one, and then your front porch will be just buzzing.
Oh,
yeah,
adorable.
Very cute. Yeah. So I'm going to put these right sides together. And what I'm going to do here is prep for a table runner. And in order to do a table runner, I probably, I need to sew these together, but I also am going to need a 2.5-inch strip on the top and on the bottom here in my, because otherwise I'm going to end up cutting off a little bit of the actual flower. We kind of want to preserve that as much as possible and not put the binding right up against that. So if you are going to do something like a table runner, or like I did with the bee pillow here, I did buff out the border here with the same color of fabric. So I don't know if you can see the seam here, but I did have extra. And if you wanted to make it scrappy, you totally could. But just remember, like that's where the bee block ended. And then I have a strip of extra scrap and a strip of extra scrap here. But honestly, you don't even notice that these are scraps going all the way around, because it all just kind of seems to blend together. So even if you've got scraps that are the same, don't be afraid to use them together to kind of make it look like you've got a whole solid background. Right, Amanda?
Yeah. Like I like how because the fabric is busy enough that it just makes it look like that's how it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm,
I love it.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to sew these together like I would a regular quilt block, and then I'm going to extend the border, and then I'm going to sandwich them, and then we're going to work on putting together a scrappy background, because if this is going to be a cute little table runner, then it needs to get sandwiched and quilted and, all of the stuff that we're sort of getting the hang of now. But I wanted to talk a little bit while I'm making tonight about what goes into a scrappy background, because if we're trying to use up what we have, maybe we don't want to buy a whole, yard or meter or two, for the background. So Amanda, I know you've been really pretty genius in coming up with some scrappy backgrounds. What do you look for? Or maybe you could explain first what a scrappy background is, just in case anyone's like really wondering, what are they talking about?
Okay, so it's just when we take any fabric that we have left over and make it work for the back of your quilt instead of buying pristine yardage. Or sometimes like there's a lot of quilts that are like 50, 60 inches wide, and our fabric tends to be 42 inches wide. So you don't want to have to buy double the amount of fabric lengthwise to get the full fit in. So you supplement the fabric that you do have to make it work. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And I have a few examples when it's time to share them, but pardon me?
Let's see.
Okay, so this is a really good example. This one is just one of those quilts where it's just a little bit bigger than the 42 inches.
Oh,
cutest.
You're killing us with this pattern. Aw.
So this is by Art East Quilt Company out in Eastern Ontario. But so I got these flamingos for the back, but like it wasn't wide enough. So I just put in two strips that work with it to fill out the back. So that's like one option. Another one is I bought like not fat quarters, but I bought like this strawberry and raspberry fabric, but not enough. And this one is, I don't know if you can see it all.
Oh, I love, yes.
It's a fun one. But I had a lot of like leftover pieces, so I improv'd blocks on the back. And I divided up the whole back with just like, it's almost like another quilt.
It totally, you could show that either way.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Or I do have, this one is like a heart quilt.
Oh,
and
we love heart quilts.
Very Valentine's-y. But I decided to do two quilts in one. So the back is just more hearts.
It's reversible.
Yeah. So you can do that too.
Reversible quilts. Oh my gosh, we could start a whole trend.
Right? And I
guess someone already thought of that, you.
Oh, this one. I just really like blues. And so this front one, this one's a Shannon Fraser design. It's plus infinity. And then my gosh,
which is the front, which is the back?
Right? So like this is supposed to be the front.
Right.
And then on the back, I put in just all the scraps or like strips of fabric that I had that I liked the colors of in blues.
Wow.
So like, do what you want.
Yeah. I pulled just one where I wanted the, so this is the front. It's just like, this is very hard to see.
It always is. Oh, I love those colors though.
Yeah, like it's just made of solids. It's called the Starburst quilt. And anyway, I'm going to make this available as a free pattern because like it's my own. So anyway, but I wanted the back to be of this like navy, like and I didn't have enough, but I did have lots of yellow solid that I knew was not going to get used up because there's only so much yellow you can
Blasphemy.
Yeah. So I made a whole strip of yellow half square triangles, and it kind of looks like, stripes going down the whole.
I love it.
And then just did another strip along the middle, but not because I only had this much navy and this much navy and this much navy. And it was like, okay, let's just use what we have. And honestly, it's great. People love a funky back. And so if you don't have enough, then make do, right? That's what we're doing in February.
Absolutely.
In March, we're buying new because we've saved so much money.
That's right.
I love it. Do you guys ever do scrappy backgrounds? For those of you that are experienced quilters, I'd like to. Oh, Lacey's saying an impromptu trunk show. Yeah, for sure. Sandra, I love all these quilts and I look forward to Jennifer's free quilt pattern. Okay, good. I'm going to release it because we are hanging that quilt in the shop. And Amanda said, Jen, a lot of people are asking where they can get that quilt pattern. And I was like, what? They are? What do you mean? That's just what I made up. And I did like years ago. And I was like, I do have the instructions for it. And so we're just printing them out. We sent it to the printer and we're just going to give it to people when they come in the shop. We're like, here you go.
Nice.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe I should make it downloadable, right? For this scrappy event, because it does take color blocks, big pieces, and puts them all in a row and then just kind of bursts out just big half square triangles. Super easy. Super, super easy. Okay, I've got these sewn together. I'm just pressing open my seams here. One of the best irons ever, just gotta say. Love it. All right. Okay,
so
easy. Yeah, they're super cute. All right, I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the. Yeah. I'm just gonna give a little sneak peek here. While I move this. Look at this. Watercolor Wednesdays is the next free event we've got coming up in March.
Oh, nice.
And look at these. These are some of the paintings we're gonna do. Little backgrounds. I don't want to spoil it all, but look at these buildings we're gonna be painting. They're so gorgeous.
They are gorgeous. I love it.
I know. And then this is the kit. There's tons of awesome stuff in it. Little paints, and there's a whole tin of watercolor pencils. And anyway, if you are loving the free events and want to try something new, the watercolor event is coming up in March. So Amanda will put the link on that if anyone wants to register for that one. Because it's a similar format where if you want the kit, you can get it and we'll send you all the paints and the paper and all of that, and you can paint along with me. Same like this kind of thing. Or if you've got paints at home already and you want to use those, then you can and just follow along.
I have so many paints.
And yes, Maria, I'm using the pink boxes. So anybody who got a subscription box will have another pink box to add to your collection.
They're so cute.
Okay, I've got some strips here. I'm going to, and you can make this any size you want. If you want to make it thicker or thinner or longer or shorter, I mean, that's the beauty of scrappy projects, is that you really don't have to follow any kind of pattern. You can make it fit your own table. So if you have a table that's just big enough for 3 tulips, cool. If you have a table that needs 30 tulips, well, awesome. Invite me over.
Maybe it's a quilt for the table. Nothing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So just like you would with any other quilt block, what do I do with my pins? You're just going to put it together, 1/4 inch seam allowance, just like you normally would. But I wouldn't sweat anything too much. Like this is a little bit too long here, so that's fine. I'm just going to hack it off at the end.
And it's okay to do this on smaller projects, but if you're adding borders to a quilt, you cannot just whack them on. Do not do that.
Explain.
Small projects, okay. Quilts, no. You need to measure and take the smallest measurement from end to end and use strips that length.
Right.
And ease them in. If not, it's a disaster. Ask me how I know, because I did it wrong
I think you need
many
to
times.
explain that again.
Okay. So if you have your quilt finished, pretend this is your finished quilt, you need to measure a couple different points to see the length or the width here.
Right.
And you take the smallest measurement, and that's how long the strip is going to be for the end. And the reason you do that is because if you measure here and it's really long and really short here, then you're going to get all this extra fabric on this side. So then you have to kind of ease it, which means pull it. As long as it's not inches off, it's fine. You just pull it so that it is nice and square. Because what happens is that extra fabric, it ripples. And if you're doing any kind of weird not weird, but any intricate design, that's going to push the fabric and you're going to get folds and puckers. Yeah. So,
all right. Hot tip, Amanda.
Learn from me because I do it the wrong way.
Okay, Sandra's saying, I never do scrappy backs. I feel that after all that work, I want to select a perfect backing. I like to give the backing the same attention. Oh my God, I just ran over the pin. Okay, sorry. I like to give the backing the same attention I gave the front, but I do appreciate the economics of piece and sustainability of scraps. I get that. I totally get that. There's like, to be fair, there's nothing I love than just a giant 108 quilt back of just a glorious pattern that shines all on its own. So,
yeah,
you know, I hear that, Sandra. But we are in the scrappy event, and so I do appreciate her saying she gets why we're promoting that.
I do love, sometimes I find the perfect fabric for the back and I will splurge and spend extra money to get enough. And then I intricately piece it so it lines up seamlessly. And then it looks like one huge backing, because the 108 backgrounds, like there's some pretty ones, but the ones that really inspire me are not ever in 108.
I know, it's true. There's very few gorgeous 108s that are like real showstoppers the way they have in regular fabric collections. That's for sure. That's for sure. Although we have 2 or 3 downstairs right now, like we got from Art Gallery Fabrics that I'm like, nope, those, I want to make just a quilt of just that because they're that nice.
Yeah.
And it would be so easy because it's just one piece.
Right? Like a whole cloth quilt.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
Yeah, the whole top of the quilt and then the back of the quilt can either be the same or like the other gorgeous one or something like that,
Yes.
you know?
Do it.
Yeah. I like that idea. Because you know, there's so many of those quilts in the stores right now that you see are just a solid color with like crosshatch quilting or straight line quilting. And honestly, I look at them and I'm like, huh, could I make that in an afternoon? Yes. You know, and they want like $300 for it. Like, you know, anyone who's watching this right now knows they could make that.
Yeah.
And, you know, just your favorite fabric.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've made a lot of minky blankets with my favorite fabric on the top so that I can have a giant piece of it forever. And then the minky on the back. It's a pain, but it's worth it.
So while I'm sewing up the borders here and I'm pressing them, Amanda, you came up with another awesome way to use up your scraps this week, a little project.
Yes.
Because you're going on a little quilting trip.
Yes, I'm headed on Wednesday down to Atlanta to QuiltCon, which is the Modern Quilt Guild's big, huge conference. And it travels around. This year it's in, did I say Austin? Atlanta. And so this year I decided I would make a lanyard. So I went through my scrap pile and I found all of my favorite scraps and I made it into a lanyard. And I had an ugly lanyard that I didn't like, and I took it apart and stole all of the hardware for it. So now it's beautiful.
That is smart thinking.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whenever you attend one of those events or something like that, sometimes you get a free one, and it's always just got like, you know, it's like red with a giant thing on it or something, you know, and it's like, that's brilliant.
And like, I cut it apart so that I could take each of the strips and measure them, so I had everything the same length.
Is that the old one right there?
Yeah.
This was just ugly gray.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not inspiring. And like
QuiltCon,
a big thing of QuiltCon is like you like change buttons and stuff. So then you can put the buttons on there nicely. It's great.
I love it. That's a great use of your scraps.
And I use like scrap because there's a layer of batting in here. So I used batting scraps. And in this, I also used batting scraps.
Good.
And I tried the hem tape. You know the hem tape?
Yes.
I ironed it on both sides of the join and it held together nicely for the quilting.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good. That's a good tip. And did you fold it together, like make it like bias tape and then sew it together? Is that what happened?
Yeah. So I did, all I did was cut 3-inch length and about 1.5 inches, but whatever. I wasn't very careful with that. And then I made a long strip And as long as it was the 3-inch length, I was able to like fold it into the middle again, so that it's like 4 layers thick there with a thing of batting in the middle.
All right, good call.
Yeah.
I see Maria Agnes's, I saw her post earlier this week. She's only getting to organizing her scraps right now. And that's what we were talking about in January, but no big deal. Like if that's where you're at, start organizing your scraps. The videos all stay posted. So, you're good to go back and watch them. They're all in the featured section of this Facebook page. So you can go back and watch this one when you're ready to do the tulips, if that ever comes, or if you want to do the bee block, or turn something into a pillow, or the pouch like we did night one. Just you can rewatch them then. So wherever you are in the process is great. I was so glad to see that Maria Agnes posted that, because I was like, good, yeah, lots of people haven't organized their scraps yet. That's fine.
I still have a bin to go through. Like I got half of them done, but I still have more.
Yeah, because it's a huge job. It's a huge, huge job. Especially if you've been collecting fabric for years and, guilty. Okay, so I'm laying down some batting here. I'm just going to make sure I've got enough, and I'm going to trim a little bit so I don't have quite as much to deal with. I'm going to leave a little bit in case I need a little bit more.
Those are nice scissors.
Yeah, thanks. These are oldies but goodies.
They're pretty.
So what I'm going to do for this pieced back, and Amanda, you tell me if you kind of do something different, but I wanted to kind of talk about this method of piecing, because sometimes when we're quilting, especially if we're new to quilting, sorry, I got so much junk. I just always have junk everywhere. It's just how I am. I wish I was different, but I'm just not. So anyway, I've got this piece of batting, and I now know that this is how big I need my backing to be. And you can do this technique when you've got smaller projects. It'd be much more difficult with a big quilt. But similar to when we put together the pouch, you could sort of take some of your larger scraps like I've done here and just go ahead and start laying them down. So for example, as long as it covers the batting, I know I'm kind of good. So I could go this way, or I could go like this way, and then just get something else to fit. And I'm just going to go right sides together, and I'm going to sew it directly to the batting. What do you think, Amanda?
That works.
Yeah, it's just a different way of piecing something together. The other thing you may want to do is line it up so that your raw edges are coming off the end for an easier trim, and trying to line up your edges here. And then what's going to happen is you're going to flip it over and press. And then you're going to find some other coordinating fabric and go here, right sides together and press. So that's what I'm going to do for this particular pieced backing. And I'm not going to worry about coordinating too much. It's going to be pretty scrappy. And I'm sewing it directly to the batting. So I'm getting a little bit of quilting done here. It's not going through to the other side, so it's not affecting the tulips. I will still need to quilt a bit on the tulips, so you can decide, do you want to just, stitch in the ditch, or, maybe you could try your hand at free motion quilting, since it's kind of oh my God, what am I doing? Hold on. Look at this.
It happens to us all. Good job, Jen.
I know. So that's how you do this technique, everyone, and good night. Good thing I turned it over and didn't do a big reveal. Like I was super proud of what I've just accomplished. All right, seam ripper.
That's okay. I totally broke a needle. A sewing needle today. In my sewing machine. Like I went, it was too thick. And I pulled on it while it was sewing, and then it got angry. And this is what I do every time. I put my hands in front of the needle because I know it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming for your eyes. Yeah.
It's like flinch until it's done.
Oh my gosh.
Oops.
I hate seam ripping on batting because it just catches. You really do have to go like one at a time kind of thing here. Okay,
Try that again.
Take two here. All right, let's line this up. Right sides together, raw edges also together. And
Pro tip.
yeah, pro tip. Did someone say pro? No, we never advertised this as pro. Did we?
No.
Quick, someone erase that from the website. It happens, right? Everyone, we're among friends.
Like, it's really rare that I work for a day without getting my seam ripper out.
No, it happens all the time. Yeah, there's no pretending that it's always perfect. That's for sure.
Yeah, and every like perfect thing you see online or in a class, there's like 10 things that were hideous beforehand.
Yeah. Okay, and then it's on your batting and it's sewn down. So if you wanted, you could top stitch and give that little extra something, or you could just press, but you definitely want to press and keep pressing as you go. You'll get a more accurate sizing. You'll know how much more you might need. Okay, now I'll take another scrappy piece. And I've got yellow and I've got blue here. Got the seam ripper underneath. So what do we think? Should we put the yellow? Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm a fan of yellow.
Honestly, especially because it's a table runner, this is a great, because it's not even like it gets flipped over like a quilt would, where you see the backing more often. For a table runner, it really is a good chance to, use up some kind of miserable scraps. Now, this isn't even cut, like, it's just chopped. So just make your seam straight, just as long as it's going over everything, it's fine. It's a scrappy backing. It doesn't need to be pieced perfectly. And because you're kind of piecing as you go, there's really no pressure to make sure that it's a perfect 1/4 inch seam. You do want to try to sew as straight as possible so it doesn't kind of look like it's wonky, but hey, whatever. The sewing machine will typically sew pretty straight if you just let it do its thing. You don't pull on it too much. Look, we're almost backed here.
I like it.
Yeah, and you want to know what? It doesn't have to be like the most beautiful anything we've ever sewn. It's just the back of something that, it's probably really not going to get seen on the table.
Except for like one time I put ugly fabric on the back of a wall quilt, and it still bugs me to this day because I know it's there.
Because it's there.
I'm like, I know there's ugly fabric on the back of that.
Oh dear. That's funny. That's your own issue, Amanda.
It is my own issue. I love it. Don't sew when you're tired. Oh my goodness. How many times I've sewn things
I better stop.
Tired.
I better stop then.
Goodness. And I end up regretting it every time. Although I do enjoy sewing after like a glass of wine. It's lovely. I have no problems.
Oh, really?
No.
I've never sewn and drank before.
Oh, it's lovely.
You don't? It's lovely, did you say? Nice drank and then sewed. Wow.
That's how I free motion quilt a lot of times. If I'm going to do anything free motion, I just need to be chilled out. So I have a glass of wine.
Wow, your patterns are so whimsical. Actually, I'm completely intoxicated when I do them. Wow. Hands up online if you're drinking right now. Tell us. Oh, it's funny. Karen saying, Amanda, you must be my soul sister. Cheers. All right.
That's right.
Hi, girl, Karen. Okay.
I thought about putting wine in this today.
Maybe wine should be in our next treat, like the treat in our subscription box. It sounds like it might go over well. The wine, yeah, exactly. We do have the champagne gummy bears, but I don't think that's quite the same thing.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, that's funny. Everyone's just like, ah. All right. Here is my scrappy backing.
I love it. I love those little, not the last one you put on, although I like that color too, but those circles. They're really cute.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know there is enough that's going to cover when I turn it over. So, Amanda, what do you think? Should I stitch kind of like some lines down here or just allow the quilting to be enough?
I think the quilting will be more than enough.
Yeah.
And like, because it's already there, you don't have to worry about it puckering or anything like that because you've attached it to that batting layer. It's kind of genius.
Yeah, I like this technique. I'm going to say I thought of it myself because I have to make up for the big blunder I did here and kind of redeem myself. So we're totally covered. You can get rid of the extra scraps. And presto, then you can just start to, don't square anything up until you're done quilting. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to make sure that this all gets properly quilted. Now, you could use some basting spray here, or it's not that big, so sometimes it sticks pretty well to just the batting. What do you think on a project this size, Amanda? Would it be worth basting either with pins or with spray? Or, the batting does a pretty good job just on its own.
I think it really just depends on the fabric that you have and knowing how it'll behave. A lot of times, small projects, I don't baste at all, and it's fine. But like today, I got into some issues on my sides here.
Yep.
But that's because these leaves are linen, and they're the most luxurious linen. And so they have a lot of give. So like I do have like a bow there, and it's a little bit weird here. Like, do I care? Not really. But if you're dealing with fabric that is slipperier or that has more stretch than normal, then you might want to baste it. But like normally with quilting cotton, like I didn't have any issues on the back with that happening.
That's good. I'm going to grab what should I, okay, let's talk, everyone. If we're going to quilt this and you're doing something scrappy, you do need to commit to a color. And especially when you've got a dark background like this, what do you think we should do in terms of thread color? Because I don't love the idea of a big dark thread going across my cute tulip here, but I also don't love the idea of a white or even a pink going through the black. Amanda, what do you think?
I would do a gray.
Gray?
Yeah.
Like light gray or?
No, like a medium gray if you have one.
All right, I'll go look. What else?
Oh, I see someone saying green goes with everything. It's the new black, gray, or white. I love the green is becoming the neutral. Perfect.
All right, I'm pulling some grays that I've got in my stash here that we can kind of lay down. I'll pull some greens too.
Dove gray. Yeah, I like it nice.
And how do you feel about variegated thread?
I feel very strongly that I don't really like it, but every once in a while I do.
Well, I'm going to pull over a variegated thread and see what it's like. I was sort of I don't love variegated threads either, but then we were quilting something for the shop the other day and we pulled a variegated thread because it was the local honey quilt that we were working on. And the variegated back, like the thread just like disappeared into it. And sometimes you kind of think a variegated thread is going to be like something really wild. I'm going to show you right close up here with this camera. Like the variegated thread, can you see here? It's pink. This is pink, purple, black, and green. That kind of feels like maybe what we should.
It's a nice one.
I mean, in terms of variegated threads, I feel very afraid of them. But if it, like, look at here, this whole stretch right here is actually pink.
Yeah.
So if it was hitting right there, but then it goes into blue, which is on top of the yellow, which I don't love.
I know
But
that's the problem is like if I could control exactly where it was going.
I know, which you can't exactly. But I am going to try it just for the fun of it because this is a scrappy project and I'm trying to spread my wings a little bit too. And, try some different techniques. And excuse me. And if it doesn't turn out to be my favorite thing, who cares?
That's right.
Who cares? Someone will love it. And then I can be like, here, take it home with you.
Or someone will spill red wine on it sitting at your table.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So this is a cotton, but lots of variegated threads are actually polyester and they have a bit of a sheen to them, which I kind of think is a bit nicer when you're quilting. Do you have a preference, Amanda?
I typically stick with cotton most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the Aurifil I find is a little bit shinier. I usually use Wonderfil. But like every once in a while I'll have a project and I will bring out embroidery thread because I'm like, it's the perfect color and it does have that shine.
Yeah,
I kind
for
of break
sure.
all the rules when it comes to thread. Just use it.
Well, yes, just use it. Embroidery thread, though, I'm just going to warn you, don't piece with it or do anything that requires a lot of strength because it's meant for decorative things. So yes, quilting fine, but not constructing because it's just not strong enough. What should I do here? Free motion something?
Yeah, do it.
Would I be so bold?
Be bold.
Okay, let's see if I can find the foot. Oh, yes, here we go. It's right here. Okay, I'm going to do it. I do some free motion quilting, like when we have demos and stuff on the shopping channel or on HSN in the US, like whenever we're doing those shows. Sorry, I'm looking for a screwdriver. And afterwards, I'm always like, good thing this isn't going anywhere. But I'm really going to try my best tonight. Okay, I'm using the S9 here, so I'm touching the t-shirt, and I'm going to try to go over to quilting and free quilting. So I love that this machine just picks it for me. It does tell me to lower the feed dog, which is right here. Okay, done. I am not putting on any quilting gloves because I'm just not that ready. I'm not that prepared. And I'm going to start slightly off. And what should I do? Just meander?
Like, because it's tulips and because we did the bees last time, I would be tempted to do a loopy, like
loopy,
like a bees like trailing across it.
All right, I'll try.
Which crosses over lines. And
I need to get the M7 out. I really probably should have the M7 for all that extra
throat space.
Quilt space. Oh, I gotta say something since someone brought up the M7. We are doing a one for the grand. Oh, we're having, okay, just come to me for a second. We're having our grand opening event. If you haven't seen the Facebook post, Amanda's coming, Michael Smith from Genomi's coming, Sandra from Genomi's coming, Monique from Genomi's coming. We got a long arm here. It's behind me right there. Anyway, what was I just about to say? Oh yeah, that we're giving, because I have to do a talk tomorrow night at one of the local quilt guilds. And so we're giving out a coupon for, because it's the grand opening event, Genomi's kind of doing a thing, $1,000 off the regular price of an M7. So if anyone wants it, just saying, it's from now until March 4th. So you can message us at info@homemade.ca, because even though it's for people who are going to like be in store, you guys are in the event. And so if you're thinking of upgrading, could be the time.
Canada only.
Oh yeah, I got to move it. Oh my God. All right. Ready? You want to know what happened here? I'm not quite on the batting. There we go. Let's go. Move this thread.
Karen, come to Canada. Come and visit.
Oh, I've got blues on blue.
Good job. Good job.
Purple on purple. Green on green. How's this happening? Okay, pink on green.
Look at you go.
My loops in points at spots are looking a little pointy, but not too bad.
It's okay. It's good practice. These are the perfect times to practice, is on like projects like this. Try something new.
And it doesn't need to be super tight quilting. If your loops are kind of far apart, whatever.
I love it.
You know what? The variegated thread is totally working.
Oh, good.
I'm surprised at how often it's matching up. And then on the, okay, I'm just going to stop so I can show you this. Then on the black, every once in a while, okay, we'll have to get right close up here. Every once in a while, you get kind of like where you don't see it at all. And then you get this kind of fun surprise of like,
cute.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See here you don't see it, and here you don't see it, and then suddenly you see it.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, I don't know about this, but you don't like. I'm seeing it very up close.
No, it's
It
good.
It looks a little messy here, I gotta say.
But
I'm
like
just gonna keep going.
you're on camera, but also
I know. True.
it's just all about practicing these skills, and these are the projects to do it on.
Well, and because we're not trying to do it on a huge quilt, there's much less investment.
Yes. And it's easier to move around, so you're not fighting with the quilt. You're just practicing. Good job.
Keep moving, Jen. I'm trying to like roll this up. It's like doing 10 stitches in one spot.
Oh, I love that bird in the yellow.
I gotta roll this up. That's much easier.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Attach a couple B buttons on the line. I like it.
I'm gonna try, just because I kind of want to try it. Like you could do a design just on the border and leave the tulips alone. It might actually look a little better, and then you're really not interfering with any of the design, especially on the tulip leaf. Like I don't love the loops on the tulip petals because I feel like they're kind of beautiful on their own. But on the black border here, I don't free motion quilt enough. This is pretty fun.
It is.
How often do you do it, Amanda?
Not very often at all, but
I tend to love straight lines.
yeah, that's my go-to. But I also really like ruler quilting now, and I like to break out the rulers because I feel like it helps me feel more in control.
I'm really shocked at how often the colors are working with this variegated thread.
It's magic.
If you don't have any variegated thread, give some a try. This is pretty cool. It didn't take too long, you guys. Now, it does look a little messy, I gotta say, on the tulips. I would say just go on the borders. If I'm being honest, it looks better. Like the tulip, the pink looks a little messy here. And I just did the borders like around the yellow. Way less messy looking.
And you can go in and then quilt, either stitch in the ditch on the flowers or do a completely different design on the flowers.
Totally. Someone's saying, I want to try ruler quilting, but I know ruler quilting is really fun.
And it's pretty easy.
It is, especially just start with a straight ruler first. You do need a ruler foot. We can order a ruler foot for you if you have a Janome machine. They're not too expensive. And I could even post some ruler stuff if you guys wanted to kind of go down that road. But I think in one of our homemade events, Amanda, we should really do a ruler class.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's more like coordinating what machine everyone has, because with rulers, you need to know if you have a high shank machine or a low shank machine. So that's just something to keep in mind. Is it hard to keep the layers smooth and flat together? It really wasn't. The biggest trouble I had here was making sure this was like not flapping around. So once I rolled it like this and then had it in the machine, it was really much more manageable. It actually kind of gave me kind of a handle to kind of hold on to while I was which I found to be like even better than holding on to the quilt itself. Or like the project itself.
And if you had gloves on or paddles, it makes it even easier.
I'm getting fancy and trying to do like a real design. It is fun, you guys. It is fun. And I do love these kinds of projects for trying to have a little bit of fun and learning a new technique and trying something different that you maybe wouldn't have normally done. Okay, so all I really need to do now is square this up and bind it. And that's just, standard with, any quilt project. So if you've been in any of our quilting events, you know how to do this. So squaring it up, I would just lay down your big mat and use your rotary cutter and your ruler and start at, you can kind of see I've got a little bit of bowing just about there, you know what I mean? But that's no big deal. You're just going to trim it off. The other thing you could do if you wanted to make this a table runner, and I maybe should have explained this ahead of time, but maybe you'd want to put a big triangle here. Sometimes the pointed ones are kind of cool. Maybe it'll have like a little pom-pom or something at the end. Or maybe you just want it to be like one like black block or dark block here. You could do that. Make it a little bit longer without having to be quite so involved. So you could do that too. Basically, if you can think of it and figure a way to put it together, then you'll do it. So I'm just going to trim off, square everything up, and bind it. And then I've got another scrappy project done with all fabrics that were just 2 short months ago sitting in a bin, right?
Right. I feel like I've been moving through so many of my scraps now. It's so nice.
Good.
Yeah.
I wonder what a solid color of quilt would look like, and just the very,
yeah.
Yes, I like that idea. I kind of also really love the idea of like a white or cream, all solid, and then straight lines with the variegated thread. And like.
I have one started where I bought sheets. Don't tell anyone. Sheets from Walmart, and it's just white, and I'm big stitching it in rainbow straight stitch.
Yes. I love that idea.
So
I love that idea.
Because we don't have enough we don't have enough going on. There is something that's starting on Wednesday, February 22nd, called the 100-Day Project. And it's
Okay.
where there's a whole thing on the website and stuff like that. But for 100 days, you set off to do something. So you could practice free motion quilting, and every day you would set aside time to free motion quilting. And the idea is at the end of that time, you would have so much more skill in what you're doing. But what I'm doing, because I often start and I don't finish. I've only finished once. And I do it like every year. But this year, I am working through my unfinished projects. So you'll be seeing that whole cloth quilt at some point come out, because I need to work on these things instead of starting them on a shelf. So
Wow. Okay. So like 100 finished projects, or
No.
100 days you'll work on a project that isn't finished?
And so like I'm traveling, like obviously this week, and then I'm coming to see you the next week. So I can't sew on the road all the time. But what I'm going to do is take my knitting that I started 2 years ago and haven't done.
There you go. That's good. I love it. What am I going to do for 100 days? I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do the long arm.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Because okay, you guys, I'm about to turn the camera around. Hold on. I know, wait for it. I'm going rogue here. I'm turning the main one, Karen, just so you know. Here we go. Don't look this way, you guys. Well, go ahead. I don't care. Hold on, it's just me. Look. Oh my goodness.
It's huge.
You guys.
It's so good.
Oh, I already broke it. I already broke it.
You're fine.
It's not even plugged in. It's okay. This is the Quiltmaker Pro 20 with Pro Stitcher. And I have used the long arm before when I've been at Shinobi headquarters and a couple of different times, but I'm by no means an expert long armor, but I've really made it my mission to get very good at this. And I actually think, and we've got like a couple gals that we've hired to work at the shop who really do know their long arming stuff. And am I even on camera right now?
Yes, you are.
You're like, anyway, we've got a couple gals who work at the shop who are quite good. Anyway, that's gonna be my mission, to in 100 days be better. And I'm even thinking maybe in the next quilting event, if people are typically sending their quilts out to be long armed, that we maybe make it part of the package, and we'll send you a shipping label, and you can ship your quilt that you make in the quilting event back to us. We'll long arm it for you and ship it back to you. Just saying.
It'll be great.
It'd be great. All right, I'm going to turn the camera back around.
The long arm is so cool, and it looks intimidating because it's huge, but it actually is, once you get down to it, it's fairly straightforward. And it's like a giant straight stitch machine, just like an embroidery machine. It's a one-trick pony, but it does really cool things. So,
I've been really surprised, Amanda, at the number of people who've come in the shop and said, oh, a cutie class, that is a good idea. And have said, I have a long arm. Oh, yes, I did this on my long arm. And I'm like, you have a long arm? You're so lucky.
Yeah, so many
Lots of people are setting them up like in their basements. You don't have to have a huge one like this. They've got like
small ones.
Yeah, small ones. And the cutie is such a great idea to use your machine like this and turn it the other way and get it going. I love doing that. I just got the laser for the cutie, so you can. That's pretty fun. Anyway, I feel when I let someone else long arm, it wasn't done by me. It's true.
Yeah.
I kind of feel that too, which is why I want to get really good at it. But then again, I also really like it when it turns out perfect. And no one will know that it wasn't done by you. No, I do really want to get good at it. And, but you know what? Some people say that about embroidery too, that they feel like, well, it's kind of cheating because the machine does so much of the work. And I get that's even further removed with the long arm because you're physically sending it to someone else to do. But when you're machine embroidering, I always still feel like I made it myself, even though, I mean, you know, the machine really
Yeah.
did a lot of
Well, and there's just so much to learn. Like if you are sending it to someone else, it's still their time and effort goes into it. And I feel like at that point, it's more of a collaborative quilt. So it's like two people coming together to do something together. But I was just talking about like the learning curve on a long arm. Even if you're doing computerized stuff, it's still huge. Like there's so much to learn that
Yeah.
it is skill and talent that goes into it. So if you feel like pushing a
Crap, you
button
need
and it's
skill
going to
and
do it
talent?
yourself, yeah, like it's, well, you've got it. You've got it. No, but it's
After
just,
day 90, I'm going to have it.
well, it's like having to perfect the tension or make sure that everything's going properly. Like it's still a lot of skill to learn. So
Yeah, and you're using the right thread.
yeah. My
Yeah.
goodness, I was using thread today, and I know for a fact that it's crappy thread.
wrong.
It's like it was just pulling apart with a little bit of pull, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. So part of the grand opening event, we're doing a whole day. Did you see the schedule, by the way? I sent it to you.
Yeah.
There's a schedule for the grand opening event. Like we have a schedule because there's so much good stuff going on. So if you live in this area, you want to come here Saturday, March 4th, because it's going to be literally like a PhD in sewing by the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's so many great demos. There's so much like free stuff. Like I've literally called every single company that we have relationships with and been like, I want to put something in the goodie bag. And they're like, sure. I'm like, great, send it on over. Yeah, so there's goodie bags, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, part of what we're doing at 3 p.m. Eastern is called Threaducation, which is so funny. And the people from Wonderfill are going to be on with us live. So everyone who's here can come up into the studio and listen in and be like in the room. Or you can watch online, which is great for all of you guys at home. You guys can tune in or watch afterwards, and we're going to go through what kind of thread for what job. Amanda's going to be doing serger demos. You're going to be demoing on the M7. Michael Smith from Janome is going to be here doing demos on the Continental M17. There's going to be a crazy sale price on the M17. Please email us if you're interested in any of those machines or any machine at all. We can really get you a great price because you're in the homemade family. We really, really will make it happen for you. A few people have done this and gotten M17s for like way less than the list price. So just throw that out there. Oh, lots of people are saying, are you going to have all the demos online? Not all of the demos will be online. There will be lives from here. Janome's going to go live from here. I'll do some lives from here. And we'll try to put some of the demos live because that's really great for people who can't, physically be here. But a lot of it is going to be concentrated downstairs. We're doing some demos up here. And sorry, what? It's like reading the comments. I saw it come up, email for Jen, and I was like, anyway, we will do some live. A lot of them will be, where it has to just be like the instructor has to just deal with the people who are actually in front of them. But we'll do as much as we can and get the content out to you. And I'd love for any of you to take a road trip. So many of you already have. I got to say, it's been fabulous. Almost every single day that we've been open so far, someone has walked in and been like, Jen? And I've been like, uh-huh, because you guys recognize me, but I don't recognize, unless you hold up your profile picture, which sometimes is a quilt, like Karen's on there. She says, Canada, here I come.
Do it, Karen. We'll drink some wine in Jen's back room.
Oh, they're coming. Someone's coming in April. Anyway, it's been so fun. Of course, you guys can come up. You can take pictures on the set in here. Sharon Ablett did that. Who else? Donna, she did that. Cheryl D'Souza did that, and her mom came. Mary, like so many. Yeah, Steffi, yeah, lots of people have come to do it. It's been so fun meeting you guys in person. I mean, I feel like we're friends already, but it is great to be able to see you all And so yeah, come and check us out. Make sure you let me know if you're coming so I can physically be here. Because sometimes, like last week, Amanda texted me like, "Hey, are you coming in?" And I was in a meeting with the principal at my kid's school. Trust me, I would have much rather been here. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, we really got way off topic, but I appreciate you guys all sticking it out. This tulip table runner was really fun. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. Amanda, I love your laptop sleeve. Show us again.
It's so cute.
It's so cute, and I love your diagonal lines.
And then
it doesn't take. And did you finish? Yeah, I love it. Did you leave the seams raw on the outside?
So like they're just,
yeah,
it's like a flip and turn, and then you sew the edges together, which is so nice.
Lacey, put Lacey's comment up.
We should do it. You should get one.
Lacey says, you need a cardboard cutout for when I'm not at the shop.
Yes.
It'll just be me in the window going like, that's so funny. I'm going to make it like skinnier. Wow, look how thin she is on her cardboard cutout. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Amanda, thank you so much for being here.
Welcome.
Love your projects. Love the lanyard. Will we see you again before QuiltCon?
No. Well, I'm leaving on Wednesday, but I'm going to be back in time for next Monday.
Okay.
I made my flight do that. I was like, got to be there.
Wow, that's dedication. All right. Well, we can't wait to hear about your quilty adventures next week.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.